almost threw up in the mic.
No!
Yes, I heard it.
It was just a little burp, a little burpy warpy.
If you didn't interrupt me, they would have heard it too. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of You're Ridiculous.
Hello.
My name is Luke. I almost said your name. And as always, joined with me is the influential Wolf.
Wow!
I had to think of one. I forgot I did that. Yep.
Good enough.
The influential Wolf. Wolf, how's it going tonight?
I'm alright. Same old night.
Yeah.
What about you?
Anything? No, I'm good. Anything fun going on in California?
Probably. I just wouldn't know about it.
What's the temperature over there?
Let me check.
Because in here on the East Coast in New Hampshire, it was -3 out today.
Wow. It is 65 degrees right now. Pretty warm.
Oh my
Pretty warm
god.
inside.
My house, when I woke up for work the other day, was 35 degrees.
Oh my god. Horrible.
Inside.
I wouldn't have left my bed. I'd have to find a new job.
Unfortunately, Darty won't let me work from home, but
The fiends.
I know one day my job is too important to stay home.
Yeah.
So they tell me. If you didn't pay attention or see last week's video, I don't know what you've been doing.
Yeah, you better go watch it.
It was great. We had our first guest, who will never be on again. We had our first game show that we'll definitely do again.
Yeah. The reviews
It was great.
are in. No Lauren,
Yeah.
more game show.
Exactly. Two things I like to hear. The reviews were perfect. But this week, now that you're all caught up, which of course you would be, we are going to be talking about the new, what is it? Like, it's a sequel?
Five Nights at Freddy's latest installment, Security Breach.
And yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a sequel or what.
It's like the 7th or 8th game in the series.
Yeah, I just didn't know if they were like chronological or not.
Sort of.
Or if they're just like all this like within the realm of the game.
They're sort of chronological. The latest one is set the most furthest in the future in the timeline. Okay,
well, there you go. And so, yeah, we'll be getting more into that as it goes on. Then we're going to be bringing back a classic You're Ridiculous bit. Another Reddit hypothetical.
Whoa.
And then we'll be capping off the episode, of course, with Rainie's question of the week, like always. And you've probably noticed she's not here. Busy work week for her. As the winter months always are, working at a ski resort.
Oh, yeah,
so.
big snow. Tons, probably.
Oh, yeah. A lot of skiing to do.
Ice.
A lot of Yetis to fuck.
Yetis to fuck.
That Yeti Thrusty really coming in clutch.
Yeah, tussy.
Yeah, tussy. I can't wait for her to listen to this one back.
Oh, definitely.
We'll get a message at like 10 p.m. What is this?
She's livid. But it's already on the internet.
That's too late. She can't stop us. She's not here.
We're too powerful. And she's not powerful enough.
All right. So, intros out of the way. Get that garbage out of here. Let's get into our main topic. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Yeah.
Wolf, why don't you tell us what that is?
Oh, there we go. I got so much to say. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Five Nights at Security.
No!
You heard it here first.
Security Breach is the most recent installment of Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's, if you have not heard of it somehow, which apparently Lucas hasn't, it is a indie horror game that came out when I was in like high school, so 2010, 2011. It was like a really simple kind of horror game where you play as a guy in an office and you watch the cameras to watch haunted animatronics as they try to find you and stuff you into the suit. This game, the very first... Yeah! The very first Five Nights at Freddy's was... Well, the whole series was started by Scott Games, and the first installment was his, last stand because he had been trying to break into the indie game scene for quite a while, but his games just weren't really clicking with people.
Make better games.
And so, lucky for him, Five Nights at Freddy's has truly blown up more than I'm sure he could have ever imagined.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's got the games, the book series, the manuals, the extended universe, and it's even got a movie on the way.
What? I didn't know about the movie.
Oh yeah, it was announced a while ago, but it seems to be having a time. And so did Security Breach, apparently, so hopefully the movie turns out better.
Yeah, I heard that one was real shit.
In terms of indie games, when it came out, it really revived the horror indie game genre, and it like inspired like an entire like a whole subgenre of horror indie games that of people trying to recreate it and to get that same success, like the kind of game where it looks. Shut up.
I was wondering when you're gonna react.
Interrupted my sentences. I was on a roll. Some games have tried to recreate it. Some have succeeded and some have failed, such as Benny and the Ink Machine. They did well, but they sort of dropped the ball. But then there was Hello Neighbor, which was bad.
I have heard of that one. That one's weird.
Indeed, it was. They had a lot going for it, and they ruined it. But I guess they're going well now because kids are real into it. But anyways, less about Hello fucking Neighbor.
Yeah, who cares about that?
Back to Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's
That's a side dish. We want the main course.
Ever increasing convoluted lore. So you got dead children, yeah, stuffed into a suit. They possess the suits. Their murderer fucks up, gets trapped in a suit. Dude trying to save him also gets trapped in the suit. Doesn't die, but he becomes a suit. And an animatronic shoves itself inside of him. And he's like alive, sort of, because by the logic of this world, his flesh has now become a suit. So he's like loosely immortal.
Oh.
He's like all bruised and battered and purple because his body's like rotting and it's got a metal endoskeleton shoved into it.
Oh, it's Barney.
Horrid Barney, cursed Barney. You got so many dead children. You got the murderer who accidentally killed both his kids while he was trying to kill other kids.
Classic.
I know, right?
You hate to see that.
That really came back around on him.
No more child support for him.
It's like peak. I didn't know they'd eat my face. and then there was the pizzeria simulator. Well, there was Five FNAF World.
Five Nuts at Freddy's.
FNAF World. That one wasn't as good, so I think it's technically not canon. And then there is the pizzeria simulator, which was like the best incarnation of the game series in a while. And then there was a pause. And then the books, Lucas.
Were they good?
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're like
I was really waiting to now the books were the worst part. That dog.
Books. The books are where the convoluted plot kind of come in. Because the books are both canon but not canon. The events in the books aren't canon to the games, but the logic and the technology are. So, for example, the books have this girl named Charlie. We think the whole time she's a human, but she's really a robot with really good AI that is convinced it's a human.
Wow.
And she bleeds, she eats, she pisses and shits, even though she's a robot.
What a freak.
I know, right? And that is canon to the games, but Charlie as a character is not.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the logic and technology and the rules of their universe are dictated by the books, but the events aren't fully real.
I see.
You got
that seems kind of bullshit if you ask
me. A little
me.
bit. And it's like there's no reason the books shouldn't be canon. It's not. But he just decided no, not fully canon.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of different genres do that. Like Star Wars does that all the time.
Oh.
With like some of their books are canon, but some is not. But some books like take ideas. Some canon books take ideas or like information from non-canon books. And so it's like, well, nothing is real at this point. Who gives a shit?
Right? You gotta make up your mind. You can't have it all.
Are the Freddy books comics or are they like
there's like
actual
novels
books?
and there's graphic novels.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The graphic novels, which are also in the same territory of not fully canon, actually go into the games store side of the lore more. It's it's focused on what's his fucking name? William Afton. He's the murderer of all these children.
No.
What
a freak. Why is he murdering people in the first place?
At first it was just for the hell of it, but then he accidentally discovered immortality. By killing the children.
You do.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. As you just stumble across it, you know.
Yeah, I don't fully understand it at the moment, but it's like killing the kids, killing the children, and it generates this thing called a revenant or remnant, which makes them ghosts-ish.
So I googled William Afton, right?
Yeah.
And we'll have to put this in the YouTube video because this is the first picture that comes up.
Yeah, that's him!
It's just some fucking cock.
That's the canon art!
Yeah, and then this was the next one.
Yeah, that's in the most recent game. Sort of.
Yeah, we could put these in the YouTube video for those of you listening to the YouTube version. If you're listening to the audio version, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Go listen to the video version, fool.
Yeah. Interesting character.
And, he's got...
kills children, discovers immortality.
Yeah, no one knows what he's holding in that Sprite, but that's him.
I forgot that the first one was a Sprite, and so I'm like, there's no can of Sprite in the second picture. like, what do you mean?
The Sprite man. He got it from McDonald's.
McDonald's Sprite man.
Yeah.
Who kills children and discovers immortality.
and then he had a Sprite from McDonald's.
Why is the actual Sprite looks like he has a toast on his chest?
You know? We don't know either. I think that's his badge, I think. But oh man, when he first dropped in early high school fandom, it was like a whole thing. They made it like a meme that he was really into toast.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that made that association.
Yeah. Purple
That's
guy.
good stuff. Yeah.
So.
Alright, back on the rails.
Back on the rails.
Enough about the McDonald's Sprite.
So, the murderer, William Afton, he's being kept alive by spite from the very first child he killed, Cassidy. She's very, very bitter about being murdered.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
It's like a thing that all the other spirits have moved on, but she's like, no, fuck you, I'm sticking here, and you're sticking here with me. And then there's Michael Afton. He accidentally killed his brother way back when. By sticking.
Wow, all the Aftons are murderers.
Yeah, it runs in the family. Yeah, he stuck his head inside the animatronic Freddy mouth. I guess he didn't know what it would do, but it crushed his head.
Nice, you've a bit of a genius. This one.
Oh yeah, fun little prank gone horribly wrong. And Michael's he's the one who freed most of the trapped spirits of the kids. And he's also the one that got an animatronic stuffed inside of him. And now, finally, in the latest game, fucking security breach. Now we can get into security breach, finally.
It's a whole build-up. You gotta stay with us for the lore.
Yeah, you gotta know the whole thing.
Otherwise, none of it will make sense.
Security breach, as a game, if it did not have the huge fandom already built up for it, it would have bombed. I think it kind of did bomb, but oh man,
I think it did a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe
which is part of the reason we're talking about it now.
Yeah, it could have gone worse, but it had the Phantom already. But what a game! As I was playing it, I sort of sent you my reactions to it as I was playing it. I think I got through pretty sizable chunk of it in one day, the release day, and then I got through the rest of the next day. It's a game that makes itself very hard to enjoy. You've got...
I think you said that, yeah.
Yeah, it starts strong. Yeah. Because everyone really wanted, like, an open roaming type of Five Nights at Freddy's games. Because before now, there's just been, like, still images moving menacingly towards you. So, already, yeah, they're off to a great start. It's something everyone wanted. But then they kind of... They really declawed it a bit. It's very smooth and shiny. And a lot of the game isn't very scary. And then... it was released way too early. It was so fucking buggy. Mine wasn't that
buggy
bad.
And...
Go ahead.
Buggy and missing stuff.
Oh, yeah, missing stuff. Yeah.
Like, we'll get to that, but yeah, not just buggy.
Fortunately...
It was also incomplete.
Yeah. My game wasn't that buggy. I would get, like, texture glitches and such. Oh, but there was one glitch I ran into where you could go back towards, like, a past mission since it wouldn't mark it as clear, and there was still, like, you collect security badges, so there was a security badge to collect. I go there, and it puts you, like, in a old-fashioned style Five FNAF minigame where you check the cameras and keep the animatronics out. But when I went to do it, it didn't give me the cameras to see them coming. So it was incredibly fucking difficult because the doors have limited power. You can't just shut them and leave them. So I'm like standing in the doorways peeking out at them while trying to time it right but then it was like if they saw you, they would beat on the door endlessly. So I had to just kind of guess and just keep restarting until eventually, after maybe 30 minutes, it gave me the fucking cameras, and then it was much easier.
I bet. Shocker when it gives you, the required tools to play the game.
Yeah. There was another glitch, sort of, where I guess at some point the game decided to lock you out of Freddy for some reason. For plot reasons, I guess. Maybe he's busy. But if you go into a recharge station, and like before the glitch comes, you can do this. You can go into the recharge station, and it'll automatically put you inside Freddy, and then you can walk around and do your thing. And the glitch is that you go inside, you enter Freddy, even though you're not supposed to be able to, and then you get stuck. And there's no way to get out until he runs out of power and kills you. And I was so upset the first time it happened, because I hadn't saved. I was gonna grab Freddy, at full charge, save, and then go about my business. But I didn't get to do that, because I got trapped inside of him. That was very upsetting.
Freddy forever.
Yep, and then the game, it's there's some lines that are like so blatant, like, hey, look at this, look at the lore, look at this, like one time, one of the lines is like, Freddy, it's so awkward, he says, oh man, Vanessa, Vanny, and Bunny, those sound connected.
Oh my god, they're just like forcing it down your throat.
Like, okay. And yet I couldn't get any kind of directions after the first major mission of where to go next or what to do. So I was wandering around for maybe an hour after just trying to figure out where the fuck I was supposed to go. I went to so many places. And in my random roaming, I discover all these other places that seem like they should be important, but they didn't have any content made for them. Like Chica's Bakery, and the Daycare Theater, and this hidden alternate side to Roxy's Raceway, where there's a fucking salon!
It feels like all those places were meant to be important, but then like during development, they just like put up like an invisible wall and you can't go to that.
Yeah, they booted it. And it just adds to the confusion. They could have just shut those areas off, because I went specifically to Chica's Bakery because I got one voice line that's like, that I got like a secret message like, oh, Chica's bakery thing is all fucked up. It keeps pushing out too many cupcakes, and then she eats too many and breaks. I'm like, that's what I need to do. I need to go to her bakery and do something. That was not the case. I eventually had to look up what I had to do, because as I was wandering around, I found the middle of a mission/puzzle. I just picked something up, and suddenly I had like, 3 completed missions. I'm like, what? What? Well, where do I go now? Didn't tell me. Or...
Now I have some questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, is the lore more or less complicated than the Fortnite lore that we went over before?
It's less complicated and just more convoluted.
I see.
Fortnite,
That's
it's
fair.
complicated, but it loosely makes sense. It's not overly complex.
Mm.
There's a metaverse, and so everything in there's canon. But you got, oh man, and then the lore in Security Breach, it's like fractured, because they had some of it, but I guess they clipped some of it because it was too scary, maybe. But then certain parts don't connect, and other parts just lead to dead ends, and some parts connect with like 80% of it, but then there's like 20% that doesn't connect.
Why would they cut it if it's too scary? That's the whole point of the game.
That's a great question. Because it's it's pretty popular with children, oddly. And I guess that's the thing maybe someone above told them to appeal to.
Maybe.
Because you can see
this seems weird to me.
People have seen, like, inside the game file, there's like, cut lines that, like, explicitly mention blood or injury or murder, and they've just gone.
The games that I've seen of Five Nights at Freddy's have a lot of jump scares, right?
Yes.
Does this have any, or is it like, did they take a lot of that out?
There's too many jump scares.
Oh, really? Okay.
To the point
they doubled down on the jump
that
scares.
they're like worthless. So firstly, there's these staff bots everywhere. According to the lore, the company had decided to replace all their human staff with robots at night. Terrible idea. And they patrol and set paths, and there's so many of them. And so when you trigger one, it like picks you up and it makes a noise and it fucking summons an animatronic to come to you and chase you down. And if you don't escape, you get jump scared again, or if you do escape, it's whatever. And I think that's part of the reason why it's not that scary throughout most of it, because 1, you can see them coming. 2, the jump scares are just more of a nuisance than anything.
Right.
If they see me, I could just run. There's a hiding mechanic. You don't have to use it. There's like a make a noise to distract the mechanic. It's broken.
Of course it is.
It works like the first time when they show it to you, like as a tutorial, and then never again.
Yeah.
If you like break something,
oh my God.
they won't even go to it. No, they'll go to it, or they'll go right to you.
They won't be tricked by you.
Yeah. The animatronics AI is a little wonky. Like, they'll be in positions where the game puts out a little announcement, like, UI screen thingy. Like, if the animatronics see you hide, they'll make note of that and expose you. They don't do that, like, half the time. I can just hop into the nearest baby stroller or trash can after I've triggered a staff bot, and then I'm good to go. Or, once again, you could just sprint away. Because they're not that fast. Amazing. And they lose track of you very easily.
There was one that you told me about that in either the trailer or a teaser video, they had a villain that is not in the actual game.
Yes! Yes!
This is like one of the biggest things that got cut.
Yeah! She's in all the trailers. And the trailers, it makes it seem she looks very prominent, and she's on the cover, and she is indeed the main villain. The main villain that has been being built up since Help Wanted, which was very good, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was like a VR game.
Oh.
But yeah, Vanny/Vanessa, she's like possessed. So you remember the murder I mentioned before?
Yep.
When he died, his ghost/revenant bullshit attached itself to some old computery bullshit, and the company used that computery bullshit in their VR game. The VR game, by the way, is canonically also a real game inside their world that they put out to
of course it is.
to quell the suspicions, the bad press they've got from all the child murder and worker negligence. But
yeah, sorry we killed all these people. Here's a free game.
Yep, so in the game is this evil spirit called Glitch Trap, which is basically William, but he's a bunny now. A very ugly bunny. And so in canonically in the game, there's these tapes hidden inside the game that I guess that were generated by the ghost AI. So when you collect all of them, if you collect all of them while playing it, you will become possessed by Glitch Trap. So you've got this branching, growing group of cult followers, sort of, possessed by this dude's vibe. And Vanny's one of them.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. She makes her own bunny suit, which is real ugly. It's like...
Oh, she's a furry.
Yeah!
Just like Rainie.
Yeah! The suit is like, it's got like stitches right down the middle of its fucking face, and the gloves are like 2 different fabrics. Like, how hard was it to just buy a bunch of one fabric?
Fabric is expensive.
I guess.
Too expensive for her.
Oh, she's too broke. But
now, I was reading...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Vanny / Vanessa. Vanessa was like a normal person. She used to work for the company that was playtesting the VR game.
Playtesting.
And I guess it's implied that there's someone higher up in the company who knows about the cult / is maybe possessed also by the ghost AI. It's not clear, but they specifically recommended her and only her to be the sole night guard that watches over the Pizzaplex, even though she's not qualified for it at all. And
classic upper management.
Yeah, and I guess she does her thing up until there is an incident when I guess the virus, it goes like full power maybe, or maybe it makes contact with the Molten Freddy and the fucking Spring Trap hiding in the basement for some reason, because for whatever reason, for whatever convoluted reason, the company, instead of just demolishing the original 5 Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, they just built over it. They didn't even cut the power to the place, apparently. And so because of that, the racing go-kart track they have collapses in on itself, killing dozens, most of which bodies were not ever recovered, but they're still operating like it's normal and trying to rebuild it.
How does this company not just get sued out of its ass?
They are involved in many lawsuits.
Oh, good. Not enough to bankrupt them.
Apparently not. Oh, man.
Incredible. So I was reading some of the reviews. Now, and what would you rate the game on a scale of like 1 to 10?
Like a 5 or a 6. Maybe a 5. Like it's got somehow it manages to draw you in, to make you keep playing. But it disappoints on every level.
So the Google review, well, I'll start with the other one. The IMDb rating on a scale of 1 to 10 was a 7.8. And the Google review, which is on a scale of 1 to 5, was a 4.4.
I don't know where these ratings are coming from.
I don't know who does them.
Actually, I think I know. I think it's coming from people who watched other people play the game.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Didn't have to deal with all the bullshit.
Looking at the fandom, the people who played the game, they get to experience the frustration and annoyance firsthand. But the people who are watching it, they maybe don't see all of it, or it gets edited around. I know Markiplier. Oh, I was watching his, and he got stuck, and I knew exactly why he was stuck. And I was also stuck at that part, but his was much longer. I think it was an hour for him. You're like walking through some laundry rooms, and there's like an opening, and it's sort of obvious, sort of not, but it's so easy to miss. So you're just walking in circles with no indication of where to go. And that's just great. That's a lot of the game.
This this game exemplifies a topic I brought up before and will likely continue to bring up, in that games shouldn't be made to make money.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that's obviously never going to change, but they should, I guess is a better word, take better pride in what they're producing.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that would create better success for the game, make more sales, and probably grant them the ability to make more games in the future.
Yeah, instead of blowing it.
Instead of, like, so many games release, like, the pre-sales or, like, alpha versions, beta versions, whatever, testing, this game's in beta, but you can still buy it, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So many studios do that, but make it so it's not polished at all, so they can say it's alpha or beta.
Yeah.
And then they use all the money they make to move on to another project. Just, like, that's just a cycle that's a lot of studios do, well, a lot of the bigger studios do.
Yeah.
And, like, they'll come back to it, they'll come back to the game and say, oh, yeah, we can keep working on it. And then, like, oh, now it's in, like, the next stage of development. Test it out again. Which brings in another wave of people to rebuy the game. Or not to rebuy it, but new people to buy the game.
Yeah.
And it just continues on like that. And this game is just another version of it. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, then, or any franchise really, that doesn't really matter to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's, not a great game. You're probably still going to buy it. You're probably still going to play it, and you're probably still going to enjoy it for the most part. However, it doesn't excuse game studios and game designers from putting out utter dog shit and just slapping, this is a great game.
Yeah. $40 game. And I gotta wait 6 months to be able to play it for real.
Exactly. Slapping a price tag on it. This is what happened with Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Cyberpunk, and sometimes it's the fans' fault. The fans, like, we don't care that it's buggy. Give us this fucking game ahead of time. And they're like, all right. And they did. And then the fans like, well, what the fuck is this turd that you gave us?
It's what you asked for,
and they're like,
freaks.
This is what you wanted. And then the fans complain and shit on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no winners, and that's the problem. That's why I'll continue to bring this up. But every now and then you get the studio or the indie designer and whatnot that really makes some solid stuff and cares about what they're putting out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Eric Baroni.
He's a real one. Best of the best.
Shout out to what, episode 3?
Yeah.
Haunted Chocolatier. Yeah, he's quality. And, of course, there are plenty of other ones. He's not the only one.
Toby Fox.
Absolutely. Toby Fox makes a great game. Not for me, but,
Listen,
I'm not going to deny that it's not a great game.
They're not buggy.
Yeah, that's true. Not buggy. Listen, I don't have to like the game to admit that it's a good game. A lot of people can't recognize that, by the way. A lot of you people out there, and you know who you are. Well, if just you don't like it for whatever reason, you'll say it's a bad game.
Yeah.
I might not like Undertale and Deltarune just because of the style of it, but it's not a bad game.
Yeah.
I said that, I think, in our Fortnite episode, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people... Now I'm just ranting about all my shit. A lot of people just can't recognize a good game from a bad game because of their own tastes about it.
Yeah.
I don't think... Go ahead.
It's never just, I just like this game. It's always, this game is bad. Because you just like it.
And they can never provide a reason. Right. Or they'll, like, just agree with the collective stigma about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened to Fortnite.
Yeah.
It got a stigma that it was, like, for 12-year-old, kids. And then it got shit upon.
Yeah, it's like doing big things and making big muns.
Yeah, and it's actually a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Well, there's very little bugs. And it gets and it's free.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's when you mentioned like betas, games releasing betas for the players to play. And frankly, maybe Security Breach should have done that. Because the bugs, there's like just really blatant bugs that aren't hard to find.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the studios shouldn't do those beta things. I'm just saying they should use them for what they're intended, not
for good,
just to make a quick buck. Yeah, they're literally for testing for a reason.
Yeah,
and they're great for doing that.
I could talk about Security Breach bugs all day. There was one.
There's too many of them.
Maybe one more. Matt Pat. He discovered a bug that was like game breaking on the ultimate level. So when you finish the laser tag area, which by the way, that's another part where the game tells you to go fuck yourself because you don't know where to go. I finished it, and you were supposed to go to the winter elevator. Apparently, I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was just trying to go to the normal elevator. Maybe 20 minutes wandering around. I find the elevator. Then I get a voice line saying, yeah, go to the winner's room up the fucking elevator. Like, thanks a lot, Freddy. But yeah,
I hate it when games do that.
There's a secret room. Well, there's Vandy's secret room where they do that dumb, stupid line. And then if you go down like I think it's called a catwalk, you know, like the big bridge up above.
Yeah.
There's a little gate. And that gate comes in handy at the end of the game because it's where you come through after you do like a chase sequence. But you can jump over it at that moment. and you can go through the chase sequence area and it'll trigger the end of the game.
Oh my god.
And it was very unfortunate in MatPat's case because when you reach the end of the game, for some stupid reason, you can't save anymore. It was like their shitty-ass way of being difficult, making the game hard, raising the stakes, where it's just fucking stupid. He was in that state, and it was before he knew about the bug where you could just go mess with something, and it would rewind time, but not erase your progress, and so you can still save again. So he found that bug, jumped over the fence, and because it triggered the end of the game, it then booted him from the game, and all his progress was lost.
Incredible.
Yep.
Oh, I would be so tilted.
I don't know.
I would have lost it.
Drop dead. That'll be your first rage.
Yeah, true. It would have been.
Yeah, really, the game's got like all its pieces, but they're not put together.
It's close. Right? Yeah, they needed to run it through a beta or an alpha test or both.
Yeah, I was like watching the credits at the end. I was like, oh, all right, so where are the QA tests? There were like 3. There were like 3 or 4.
Incredible. And I was gonna ask about that if they had any.
They needed more, and they needed more that also weren't responsible for making the game, because no wonder they didn't have issues getting from point A to point B. They already knew.
Yeah, I get super picky about playtesting and bugs and anything like that, whether it be a video game or a board game. Because that's literally what I do. Like, that's my niche as a designer or whatever. I'm like a playtester. I find bugs. I test balance and all that stuff. I'm doing that for a company right now. And so studios for game design, for video game design specifically, you should always have probably double or triple the number of playtesters and the hours that you're paying them to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard for players to find bugs. It's way harder for the designers to find bugs because they're going to play it as intended.
Yeah.
And this is true for a tabletop game too. If you're testing balance and whatnot, you're going to play it as intended, or slightly maybe new if you find something, but you're rarely gonna try and break the game.
Yeah.
But that's all players like to do. That's what they love, especially for video games, especially for speedrunners.
Oh yeah.
Like more studios need to employ like professional speedrunners, and they'll find bugs like crazy.
Yeah. Guess what the lowest speedrun time for Security Breach is?
Okay, so what's the average regular playtime?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
I'll guess like 15 minutes then. I'll guess 15 minutes.
It is 3 minutes.
Oh
because of a
my
bug.
god! I thought I was right. I knew about that bug. I was trying to I didn't think you could get there that quickly.
Yeah, it's like
Jesus.
3 to 5 minutes.
That's faster than that's a lot faster than Breath of the Wild, which is a really, for how long that game is if you play it out. The speed run is 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's that one where you just launch yourself into the castle, right? With the time.
Oh yeah, you just fly through the air without the thing that lets you fly through the air.
Amazing.
You use some shield jump bugs and shit, but 3 minutes, that's incredible.
Yeah, and it's so obvious. Like, how did they not see that?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying is that the designers are never going to find something like that because they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let's just skip our game. They're never going to go hey, can we just, subvert our entire story and just finish the game?
Yeah, they spent too
they're
much time.
They're never going to try that.
Spent too much time rewriting the story and rewriting again. And then just pruning it all down, taking it all out.
Yeah.
Because the game itself is broken.
Designers are way too focused on what they're trying to make to find any sort of way to break what they've made. Yeah. And that's I could spend a whole episode talking about this kind of stuff, but Five Nights at Freddy's, just play it and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Oh, there was supposed to be a song. Because they're performance animatronics, so there was going to be a song with lyrics.
Oh,
but it was broken, so they had to take it out.
Robbed us blind. Taking out all the good shit.
Yeah. There was I guess maybe there was more stuff with Chica. She's a chicken. She's that bakery I mentioned earlier. Apparently, something about her made the other animatronics break, so they could never be in the same area together.
Programming is a nightmare.
Indeed.
I never want to do it.
I will say the one part where the game peaked, was in the sort of boss fight with Chica. After you try to murder her by smashing her in the trash compactor. She drags you down with her down to the trash pit, which also very strange and convoluted that exists at all, but we're just gonna roll with it. Because it's literally like a cavern of trash that they just keep. There's security bots down there too, so they know about it. And there's old broken security bots, and maybe that's lore or something, but it's unclear. I've got the weird animatronics with that looked like the marionette, which is the very first dead child. And they've got in your dreams written all over them, but there's nothing that ever really explains it. But down there, Chica, after you steal her beak, she's all broken and crushed up. Then she pursues you through the sewers and the cave system. And that area was actually that was a fun area. It was hard, but it was fun. It wasn't there was very little, maybe because there was so little down there, it was just one thing chasing you. They didn't fuck it up.
Amazing. Finally, they didn't fuck something up.
You know what they did fuck up, though? The super secret, super ultra boss fight with burn trap / spring trap down in the basement.
How was it fucked up?
It's broken. And
of course it
doesn't make any sense, sort of. And also it's broken. You can... I know, sometimes it's broken in a way that I don't even know if the fight was just badly designed or if it was really just that glitched and buggy. Afton, or Spring Trap, I think we're calling him Burn Trap. He's called on the power of all the animatronics, somehow. And he's trying to possess Freddy for some reason. And you as Gregory have to fight him off and do a couple different things. There's one where you just shut the door on Chica and she walks away. But then there's one where Roxy comes running in, which causes it can break suddenly. Where she won't kill you, but she's supposed to have killed you, but the game won't progress because she's still walking around. Because if you don't, you get like this ability to like scream and scare the animatronics away, which isn't used at all except for in this one fight. That's great. There's these little tentacles that come out the sewage streams that are low-key unavoidable, that you have to just pick a corner and hope. And hope the game bugs enough that the tentacles don't attack you. And the fight itself is just kind of boring. You're just pressing a button to turn on the incinerator, but we don't really understand why the incinerator's down there. There's 3 different incineration rooms to distract Afton, and then for some reason when you win the fight, the whole building catches fire for reasons.
This game's a fucking mess.
Oh, and the messiest part, the endings that are so kind of really not satisfying, especially after all the work you have to go through to get through some of them. They're fucking comics. They are 2D images scrolling across the screen. I guess they ran out of time and budget to do proper endings, but they're... Imagine doing all the things you have to do perfectly, especially if you don't have the rewind time so you can save glitch going, to get a fucking comic.
They just ran out of time and money for everything.
Yup. And then there's the... Yeah. Hell.
Alright, so what would you rate it? You rated it, what, a 5 or a 6?
Yeah, I gave it like a 5.
Do you like it as a whole? Or... Because you're a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
Yeah, I like parts of it. I liked the Sun and Moon animatronic. I simp for it on main daily. Though it wasn't very...
Yeah, we know it.
It wasn't used very much, though it felt like it should have been. Maybe it was broken.
Probably.
Yeah, there's...
That's the, like, slogan for this game. Maybe it was broken.
There were some bits, some like secret lore bits that were fun to find and discover, like Michael's secret room that's down below, and it's like it's funny when I found it, I had actually glitched myself into it on accident. I like called down Freddy, and for some reason he like stuck himself in a corner, and so I went to go inside of him. The game freaked out and then just slid me into the room, the secret room. And there I was.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
And at the moment, I thought that was intentional. Because that's something the game has done previously. Like an intentional glitch. I was like, look at me, I'm a genius, I did it. And then I was like, how do I get out? And because it was at the point where you couldn't save anymore. So I was like, I guess maybe the game will remember it if I leave? It didn't. And it turns out you were supposed to use the camera to take a picture of the fake doorway to make it appear, which definitely makes so much sense and was definitely very intuitive, so we surely would have known to do that.
They were on so much crack when making this game.
Not enough, apparently. They weren't getting anything done. But yeah, solid 5. I think it has a potential to be better once they fix it in a few months. And I'll play it all over again.
You have to come back to it, just like everyone else will. Which is, like I said, something they shouldn't have to do. But, that's a whole rant for another episode, because you've heard half of it already. So, we're way over time for this segment that we thought we'd be, but I think we can squeeze in our other 2 segments.
You thought this would be... I'd had only 20 minutes of FNAF to talk about.
Listen, you never know. We always say, yeah, we'll do a shorter episode, And you and I just get going and we can't be stopped.
Indeed. I didn't even get into the theories, but everyone knows about it.
We'll save it for another time, maybe.
FNAF Part 2.
Yeah, when they fix it, we can, do a whole another FNAF episode.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's go.
All right. So, moving on, wrapping up Freddy's, moving on to a classic Your Ridiculous segment, Reddit's Hypothetical, where I go on to Reddit, find a hypothetical question that some user posted, and we answer it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, all the Reddit users are cowards and delete it, so I couldn't credit the user.
Delete their account.
It just says deleted. So, however, I unfortunately can't credit him. But this question is pretty simple. If you could only see in different shades of the same color, what color would you want that to be? So, for example, if you look at, a rainbow, it would be, instead of being the Roy G. Biv colors, it would just be different shades of, say, black or something. It would be like Vanta black, then, charcoal, then gray, then so on and so forth. And I know those are slightly different colors, but they would all be in the same realm.
A gradient.
So on and so forth.
Just...
Yeah, a gradient of the colors, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Wolf, what color would you want?
Probably purple. Yeah, neat one. Not a lot of naturally purple things out in this world.
True, but very pretty.
I think purple was the one that has the most range of colors. Unless I have that reversed and it's actually red. But if that is the case...
I feel like purple would be pretty confusing because, like you said, it's not a super common color in nature.
Yeah. But,
so it might throw you off, but it would make it more interesting.
I'd find the one purple thing, and I bet it's real dangerous, and I just won't recognize it because I see everything as purple.
That'd be really funny.
What about you?
Well, you kind of already touched on it. I would choose red because that's a bit more occurring. I don't think it would be as confusing. But my favorite color is maroon.
Oh.
And so, to see more maroon things, who wouldn't like that?
Perhaps. I feel like it'd be, bad for your health, always seeing red. It's like how...
Probably.
It's like how, red light districts, the act of being red is what makes them so shitty.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not choosing green. Because that would just be hell.
How you go into the forest and you never come out.
You're just stuck there. You just it's like staring at a static TV.
It's like a whiteout in a blizzard, but you're just surrounded by the forest.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not picking that. I also thought about purple because I quite like purple. And you could get some nice violets in there. You could get some, deep dark purples. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice color.
Yeah.
And then my other kind of one that I thought it would be nice would be blue. However, I'll be damned if I go to the beach and everything is just fucking blue. You would die.
You would know the water starts. You just
try diving. You would be dead.
He's 20 feet away from the water. Shoop! Smack.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I think you would be able to tell some of it. We're over-exaggerating a little bit because it's not really that different than, being colorblind, It would just be, instead of no color, you see one color. However, it's still really funny. There's no way I'm choosing blue or green. But, yeah.
Which is funny, because those are the two color blinds. The real ones.
I know. Rainie would probably choose something, edgy like
yellow.
Black. Yellow. That'd be Lauren. I was just gonna say, Piss Vision, that'd be Lauren. Oh, yeah. Pretty simple Reddit question. Reddit's hypothetical. Can't credit the user, like I said. Unfortunate. Stop deleting your posts.
I bet it's
fools.
just they were hiding their addiction to hentai. Hiding the evidence.
Yeah. Or they got over their hentai addictions. Gotta hide their shame.
No evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, moving on. That's a bit of a shorter one, like we said, which is good because we're running out of time. Moving on, wrapping up the episode to Rainie's question of the week.
Woo-woo.
She may not be here, but her question is. So, do you want to do her voice? You want to give her a redeeming one? You
here we go.
Last time.
Let me.
Failed miserably.
What?
She's not a Muppet.
What game? What game?
This is Donkey Donkey Literature Club all over again.
What game has the best OST?
You You have... I think this is worse than what you did last time.
No! You see the issues. I can't
All
hear
right.
myself
So
very well.
Thank you, Rainie, for that question. What game is the best OST or original soundtrack, if you're not familiar?
Ost.
I guess I'll start off. Yeah, Ost. I'll start off, since you answered the last one. Pretty simple answer, but I like Zelda, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think the ambient music that plays is really calming and nice. The combat music is a little silly for what it is. It's it's very like I don't like electric and up and like kind of bouncy. It's a little too comical for what is happening during some of the, not all the combat music, but a lot of some of it.
Sing
anyways.
it for me.
I couldn't. I could barely describe it. As you could tell. I couldn't think of the words. But the rest of it's really good. Like I said, the ambient music is great. The nighttime versus daytime music is just really pleasant. The different regional musics for each of the different tribes, like the Zora versus the Gerudo versus and all the other ones.
Yeah,
they have really great music. And I just think it's really good. That's why a lot of people have uploaded the music to YouTube, making playlists like, the Zelda like chill music and stuff like that.
Lo-fi Zelda music to study to.
Exactly, yeah. It's just really good. I like it.
Nice.
It may not be the most exciting answer, but if you've played the game, you know that the music is really good.
Right.
So, what about you?
Mine is pretty recent. It's actually Inscription, which is one we talked about. The the soundtrack. It's a bop. I especially like Leshy's theme, and then the remix they do for the part 2 fight you do for him, where it's more what do you call it, like arcadey soundy, like 8-bit sounding. Yeah. But yeah, all the songs are real good. Especially the opening song. I didn't realize it's like 12 minutes long.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was Inscription an indie game?
Yes.
Yeah. Huh.
I think so.
Cool. Good thing that. I think it is. I think I remember that. It's funny that a lot of indie games have such excellent music.
It's the originality.
Yeah. Well, because like Stardew Valley has an excellent soundtrack, and he made Eric Brony obviously did all the music himself.
Yeah.
And it's funny that just a lot of indie games have really good soundtracks.
Yeah, I guess it's more. They go for more what sounds just good and right than what would appeal to a wide audience.
Another reason why we stand indie developers.
Yeah. But yeah.
Nice. If you haven't played either of those games, you can at least check out their soundtracks or check out the games in general.
Yeah.
We already recommended Inscription.
True. It's got its own episode.
Yeah, and if our recommendation isn't high enough, I can't provide anything of greater value.
I don't know what you want from us.
Yeah, exactly. What are you here for?
Well,
I think that...
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I think that about wraps up episode 14 of You're Ridiculous.
All right.
Wolf, why don't you take it away?
All right, I'm Wolfie, taking things away. Thank you for watching You're Ridiculous, episode 14. Feel free to check out Security Breach in 6 months once they fixed it, and follow us on all our socials. The main crew one on ridiculous_cast. You can follow Lucas on Twitter and Insta. 7 Angry Wasp spelled with an E, and you can follow me at
That's right.
Rainbow Does with no W on both Twitter and Instagram. We look forward to seeing you guys again, and thank you for joining us once again another week for another ramble, lovely little thing. Say goodbye!
Goodbye!
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.